It is honestly too hot for a city that has literally just rained nonstop last week. I am sweating bullets today. Hi friends, and welcome to my March monthly wrap-up. This month has been nothing but torture, whether it is from reading the books or from filming the monthly wrap-up, because it has been such a journey. Let me just tell you that much. This is probably my third or fourth attempt recording the monthly wrap-up just because I have been screwing everything up. I could not get anything correctly. The videos were not recording when they should be. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it so I can't mess up any further. This month, I finished a total of 6 books. I did have 2 DNFs, totaling to around 3,366 pages. My monthly average star rating for the month was approximately 3.53. This month, I was able to save approximately $45 from Stuff Your Kindle Day and the Spotify Premium feature. Alright, now let's hop into the graphs for the month. This month, I'm doing a little bit differently. I'm just going to paste them all around the screen on top of my face. And from there, you can kind of look at whatever statistics that you want to see. For me personally, my favorite graph has to be the number of pages read per day per book. Personally, for me, it really shows me the trend on how my day-to-day reading is like. And I'm going to zoom in on this particular graph at the moment, and you should be able to see that at the beginning of the month, I read a lot. I basically binged The Broken Ring. And then at the middle of the month, I really trickled down. There are even some days where I didn't read at all. And then I ended the month super strong again with The Broken Ring round 2, but this time it was the light novel. Okay, let's get into the first and technically the last book I read for the month of March, and it is The Broken Ring. And if I could get all of you guys to read this book, like if there's one book I want anyone to read for the whole year of 2024, it would have to be The Broken Ring, period. I'm not even going to take this back. Catch me end of 2024 doing the yearly wrap-up. I'm going to say the exact same thing. This is by far going to be my 5-star read of the year. It is a solid 5-star, and it just has to do with how dynamic the characters are. I love them. They're lovable, and then you feel their anguish and their angst and everything about it. This book honestly has everything from angst to puppy dog love to just straight up hardcore smut. Like I don't even understand. I don't understand how a book is able to do all of that. And they also give us a very good main character where she is fully flawed with the way that she is, and she doesn't try to fit into the perfect persona. So this does have to do with a lot of interpersonal conflicts. And if you do want to read this book, I do highly recommend checking out the trigger list before you read it, just simply because there are a lot of very dark topics that happens to the character, and it's why she is the way that she is. And I really think it adds a lot of depth to her character as to like why she is quote unquote the Black Crow and who she is as a narrator. It's so good that I'm going to Korea and I'm going to try to buy the actual novel in Korean because it's not completely translated in English, and I might try to machine translate it, but we'll see. So the next book I finished for the month of March, it was Check&Mate by Ali Hazelwood. After Love on the Brain, I was honestly kind of scared to go into another Ali Hazelwood book, but I decided since it was on the Spotify Premium audiobook feature, I can just listen to it while I'm at work and doing stuff. So I would have to say I'm glad I didn't buy it because it was kind of a lackluster read for me. I know this is her debut in YA, and maybe she's trying out her hands at different genres, but I don't really think YA is for her because there are a lot of moments in the book where there was a lot of sex talk, but I just felt like it was unnecessary because it was still closed door. I mean, you can still have the intimate relations in a YA book, but the way she portrayed it, it was really skimming on the line of whether or not it's YA or adult. So for me, that was kind of a turn off. I didn't really feel like it added anything to the book. I don't think I mentioned what my rating was for the book, and if I did, I'm sorry, but I rated it 3 stars. I felt like Nolan as a character is a little bit weird or stalkerish. I think stalkerish is a better term because he paid somebody to stalk, I think her name is Mallory, where Mallory lives, and offer her a job, which he is paying for, by the way. Of course, she doesn't know about this until the end, and that causes the third act breakup. Just think about it. When I put it in that term, it is him basically giving someone else some money, saying, hey, I want you to track down this chick that I met for maybe 30 minutes to an hour during a chess tournament, and because she just blew my mind because she defeated me in a chess tournament, find her and give her a job so I have the chance of being in the same space as her. Like, he is creating his own opportunity to be next to her, and that's just I don't know, man. That's just a little bit creepy on my end. Nolan is definitely not a character where I'm like, yes, that is a main male lead that I want. It just didn't feel it for me. I didn't feel it. So overall, the book was kind of mediocre. I hated how poorly her sister treated her, and then the author kind of brushes that off, saying like, it's only because you try to nag us. I'm like, I don't understand, but Mallory forgives her because of course we need to have a happy ending in the family, but I don't think she should have, in my honest opinion, because her little sister was a brat. My third book of the month, and the book that really put me in a reading slump, was Notes on an Execution, and I gave it 3 stars by the time I got to the end of the book. If I had not pushed all the way to the end, it was probably going to be probably a 1 star. I was thinking maybe 2, but it really would have been a 1 star. For me, the author's writing is very colorful. I really enjoyed it. It was very realistic, the way she describes some actions, some feelings, and some senses, but the journey to get to the story of the serial killer and the morals and the themes of the book, to get to the end, you basically have to go through multiple different journeys, and some of them, personally for me, I felt like did not add to the book. I understand that the detective is almost a foil. I believe that's the correct terminology, a foil to the main character. Yes, I had to look it up. A foil to the main character, where she's basically contrasting on who she is as a person versus him, because both of them went into the system, but she ended up being good and he ended up being bad, and how their paths kind of collide. But there were just some moments about the detective that I just felt like wasn't necessary and really dragged on the story. Because of that, and she did take up a good chunk of the book. For me, it was just so rough getting through the perspective of the detective. I felt like I understand what the detective character was supposed to be, but personally for me, the journey to get there and to see that connection was so hard that I almost DNF'd the book, and it really takes away from the story, hence why it's a 3-star read for me. The next book that really got me out of the reading slump that Notes on an Execution put me in was Best Enemies Forever, and it's probably one of the best enemies to lovers story that I have read in a long time. It's enemy slash rival slash forbidden love, and I just ate that shit up. It was so freaking good. It was one of the more well done enemies to lovers, where the male lead or the enemy aren't just blatantly assholey to each other for no apparent reason. They have a reason why they're kind of pitted against each other, basically from the fact that both of them are heirs to 2 rivaling companies. And I feel like that makes sense, and then you get fed lies about the other side, and then of course you always grow up looking at the other person as an enemy because they're trying to take down your company. So I felt like that aspect of it was really good. But the best part of the book has to be their dynamic, their banter, and everything was so witty. And the slow tension was beautiful. It made it for the payoff to be spectacular, in my opinion. So highly recommend it. It is a solid 5-star read. If you like Enemies to Lover, I cannot recommend this enough, because I truly think this is probably the best Enemies to Lovers that I have read so far. The last book of the month that I completed is The Seventh Loop Villainess. This is novel number 2. It is actually part of an incomplete series. So novel 6 is supposed to come out sometime in September. And I finished novel number 2. I finished 3 and 4 within a span of a couple of days in April because it's so good. I give it solid 5 stars. I love this. Everything about it. I eat all the Arnold and Riche tiny little romance crumbs. Whatever romance crumbs they give me, I eat that shit up, okay? They are just so freaking cute together. It's one of those he fell first story, and Arnold is so infatuated with her. He would kill the world for her. He will beat any man up who look at her the wrong way, okay? And I love that. I love that in the character. And Riche is an independent chick who don't need no man. And the reason why it's a really long title, okay? Give me a second. So the full title of the light novel is Seventh Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. Oh my god, that is a mouthful. I probably took like 3 or 4 takes of that. But basically, this novel is about Riche trying to live past the age of 20, all while being married to her arch nemesis, Arnold. I would not call this an enemies to lover trope just simply because they aren't truly enemies. It's just that Arnold kind of accidentally kills her in all her previous life. So Riche was like, you know what? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So she went ahead and married the dude. He does not actually, okay, he kills her in her 6th life, and in all her previous life, she dies as a result of something that he did. So take that as what you will. This is a light novel. with the themes of regression, which is basically every time the main character dies, she goes back to a point of time and now she's reliving her life and making active changes to it so that she doesn't die on her 20th birthday. 5-star read. If you're looking to get into light novels, I highly recommend picking this up. It is a simple, quick, easy read, and it has me kicking and giggling and screaming because it's so freaking cute. I cannot stress this enough. This made me blush because it was just so cute. I should have prefaced this. This is PG-13. So I'm just saying, it's just that cute, and I love Arnold as a character, as stone-faced, no emotional, and blank stare as he is. I'll take him as is. So now that we talked about all of my 5-star reads, let's talk about some L's I took this month, aka my 2 DNFs. So before I get started, I just want to make it clear, little disclaimer, no hard feelings. Everything I'm saying here is just for conversation purposes and my thoughts on the book. If you end up enjoying these books, or if you do enjoy these books, all the power to you, because your preferences and my preferences are not the exact same thing. You know, take that with what you will. The first book that I had to DNF was He Found Me, and it's supposed to be a mafia romance book, but there is no mafia romance in this one. There's just straight up clown fest. And that's the best way I could put it. It was a roller coaster. The main character, within 35 pages, 25 pages, I DNF'd around there. Within those pages, she flies to Europe on a plane ticket on someone else's dime, whom she did not know, without any real plan, gets locked into the mafia house because, you know, she flew to Europe on his ticket and his little gremlins came and got her. And she willingly followed the gremlin to his house, and then she acts surprised when she's locked in there as a prisoner. Yes. And then, you know what her reaction is to being locked in, aside from being surprised? Because I didn't expect this either. She strips topless and goes sunbathing outside in his backyard because he said, well, at least he has a nice pool. I'm like, girl, what? Girl, what? I was speechless. And at that moment, I just had to close my Kindle and just called it a night. I called it a night. So yeah, 0 stars, 1 star. I don't know what to rate this, but the author, what I do know is that the author should get a refund on her editor because the amount of spelling mistakes and grammatical errors is out of this world. And this is coming from someone who can barely speak the language. I'm just saying she needs to get a refund because that editor did her wrong. While that was a particularly harsh DNF review, the next one is more lighthearted. I DNF'd it because it didn't really give me anything. It wasn't bad, but I knew it was going to be like a 3-star read. And because I had so many 3 stars for the month, I just couldn't bear to read another 3-star and trekked through it. And the book is not The Billionaire. I actually got this as part of Stuff Your Kindle Day, and I rated 3 stars. I got to about 100 pages, and from then, I already knew that I wasn't going to love the book. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. The author's writing was fine. Everything about it was fine, but it was very vanilla. Everything you see is what you get. And for me, I like my stories to have a little bit more spice, a little bit more drama, you know? So for that, I did have to bump it down to 3 stars. And I didn't feel the need to finish it because it was very obvious where it was going to lead to, which was basically him hiding the fact that he's a billionaire. She eventually finds out, 3rd act breakup, whatnot. Maybe some dude tried to swoop in and steal her. I actually don't know. I might be making this up. It could end up being a wild ride for the next 300 chapters. I don't know. But the very beginning of it was very vanilla and straight-laced, and it's just them wooing each other. But I didn't feel the chemistry between them. I don't know. I just couldn't feel it. And so with so many 3-star reads, and by that I mean 2, and a 1-star, what the heck did I just read book, I really needed something to pick up the pace for me, and Not the Billionaire was just not doing it for me. So I had to drop it. And with that, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my March monthly wrap up. How was your March monthly? I heard a lot of people had DNFs this month. Did you guys also have a lot of DNFs? Because usually I'm a completionist. I try to finish all my books, but I really couldn't this month. I had to put some books down. Otherwise, I would probably be in a much longer reading slump. So no regrets there whatsoever about DNFing those 2 books. I am glad I got through Notes on an Execution because I like the morals and the themes they were trying to tell tell us at the end. I just wish it wasn't so painful to get through. And with that, I'm gonna wrap up the video. Only thing left is to please read The Broken Ring. Please, it is in manhwa form, it is in light novel form, any version of it. It is so cute and it takes you on a ride. And yeah, I will see you guys maybe on Friday for my 24-hour readathon. Bye!